This DJNTV show is sponsored by DJ Event Planner, Electra Voice, DJ Trivia and DJ Bingo, ProX Direct, NLFX Pro, Promo Only, Odyssey Cases, Perfect Portals, Instant DJ Requests, and our DJNTV Insiders. This is John Young from DJNTV. Thanks for watching.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for taking time out of your Monday night to join the three of us. It feels weird, but it's awesome to have everybody back together. It's like riding a bike. We're gonna crash 8 times before the show is over.
Nice.
Nice. A bike. I got a giant scar in my shin from riding a bike, so
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna crash before we figure it out.
real bad mountain bike wreck.
That's the problem. You should have just been riding a 2-wheel.
Well, I was trying
Little huffy.
I was trying to jump something, and I misjudged the distance and come up short, and front wheel went that way, I went that way, shins first.
That's why you only run places nowadays. That's the safest.
No, it's why when I do it on the motorcycle, I have full gear. Like, there's protection everywhere. On there, I had t-shirt and shorts. I had gloves on. My hands were getting messed up.
That's it. You got the
and
important
a helmet.
The important stuff.
Well, you need your hands for what you're doing, right?
That's right.
Why you wear the gloves.
How can you be a hand model if your hands get scuffed up and scarred? I'm just saying.
Like George Costanza.
Yeah.
There's an old throwback.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Oh, so yes, we are back tonight, and we've got a topic we're going to dig into a little bit with some of the more popular songs from this past season for Dan and I, mainly weddings. For MJ, of course, he is busy all the time, so we're going to have him just hopefully pick somewhere between 10 and 1,000 songs that are fairly popular with what he does.
I took virtual, and I did look at the most 10 played last year. I mean, this year, within this year, 2022. And the odd thing is I'm not doing a lot of the young clubs, so you're going to see a lot of the stuff probably you guys are playing.
That'll be very interesting.
Yeah, so you're going to be surprised by what I played. The only difference is probably going to be versions. So
Certainly. But yeah, that will be a very good indicator. My personal list that I came up with is based on crowd response, because I do go through and I log, make notes on what songs are going over, if it's a request, did it flop, did it go, so that way I can use that information as I'm going forward. So the songs that I have got on my list are things that have responded well to multiple audiences, not just one, but at least 5 audiences at 5 different weddings this past season.
And I just said, throw caution to the wind.
Interesting. John's taking it from point of view. I'm taking it from literal plays, like just numbers. And Dan, honestly, what would you call the way you kind of put the list together tonight?
So mine was based very similar to John's. Crowd response mixed in with actual requests that I've received.
Okay, good.
So
Okay.
You have a good balance.
Yeah, it should be fun. So I'll get things started here, guys. I'll be reading my list of songs from my spot right back here. There's 9 of them.
Where was that buzzer? Where was that buzzer that we had from the thing?
What? The heart of rock and roll is.
We're calling BS.
Fine. I'll go to my list B. I mean, everybody parties hardy to sports. I'm just saying, parties hardy.
Well, they are from Minnesota, so not the band, but the people he's talking about. So sorry, Minnesotians, we love you, but if John's painting that picture of you, I don't know if I can ever visit.
we might have to keep our distance. It could
Words
be
and
contagious.
expressions expressed by John is not necessarily that of anyone else in the state of
Anyone else
Minnesota.
who performs music at events. Okay, so who wants to start here? I mean, I'm really intrigued with MJ's list, tell you the truth.
Are we doing this number 1 to number 10? Number 10
Yeah,
to
I don't have them
random?
listed out that way. I just
I
kind
don't
of,
have any particular order on
yeah, I
mine
didn't
either.
either. So
All right, first on my list is probably not what you expected. I got to see the list here. I moved the list. I'm playing around. I would say I'm just going to start off simple.
sure.
Hard Rock and Roll is on my list by some band. I don't know who they are. I just played it. It says Hard Rock and Roll. Dan, what was on your list?
No, I'm not going there. We were supposed to save that for the end.
Oh, I thought
We're supposed to save that for the end, MJ.
Oh, we planned to have song because that's why I asked number 1 to number.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
obviously
because I want a new drug.
Yeah, see, now the music is really starting to pick up the quality of what you guys are playing at your events. I'm very, very proud of you.
You're killing me.
Very proud.
All
of
right,
you.
so I am going to go down my list.
Okay.
Most played to least played.
Sure.
You want to do it that way, or
That sounds
or
good.
the other way?
Yep, for yours, and then Dan and I
All
are
right,
just
so
gonna pause.
most played is the November redrum of September by DJ Seraphin. So basically, it's just a redrum of Earth, Wind, and Fire's September. And I don't know. There's hardly a night I ever don't play that. So that's one that's every crowd, I'm guessing.
I assume we're going to kind of round robin this.
Go ahead, please.
And so since you hit it, that was another one that was on my list. Now I just have it listed as redrum. I don't even technically remember where I got it to know whose redrum it was. But mine is very similar. It's a nice redrum. It's got that solid, consistent beat throughout. Nothing really too fancy beyond that. Just basic redrum with that extra beat.
Interesting. I'll jump into one of the songs that I've been having requests for and playing earlier in the night. At weddings this summer, the Macarena has taken the spot that used to be the cha-cha slide, and it has become a much bigger thing for the dance floor. It has, to a point, almost become one of those early night, fill the dance floor and get the party going type of songs, which still is a head scratcher for me. But we're getting the couples and their friends at the right age, and it's such a still well-known song. So
It's a 2-generation thing, I think.
very
is
much so.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
And I feel like you still get, like, because I've dropped it a couple times without it being requested. Just to when I've tried it with like Cupid Shuffle or something, like, okay, I'm getting a great response from line dances. All right, let's see what happens. And I still get it's weird because I'll get the almost like half grown and then run to the dance floor. Like not half grown from the people on the dance floor, like half grown from the outside, go, oh, and then they run to the dance floor and do it. So it's almost like didn't expect to hear that, but since I did, I got to go do it. Like, I don't know.
We always used to call that song the car keys song. Where'd I put my car keys at?
Yeah, okay. Looking for your car keys. That's how you do this set. It was interesting and I tried to look back at the last few years, obviously 2020, but last year's weddings. I don't think I played maybe once last year. It wasn't played virtually at all, and it wasn't requested. And this year, it has been on virtually every wedding request list, and it's gone over well. MJ.
Well, it came out, 97? I want to say. And so, or it was like hit radio play with the Bayside Boys remix.
Also, keep in mind that Tyga did his remake.
Yeah.
So that's part of what brought it back, because I was playing it at some youth dances a couple years ago. So. All right, my turn?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Next on the list is one that, I don't know. I don't know if it's people want to hear it a lot or I just play it a lot. I don't know. Is Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. I can always get I'm like, if I say I want to get people started and there's girls standing around, I just play that. They come out, period. So.
At both of my homecoming dances, that was requested. I don't believe I played it at either of the homecoming dances, but that's interesting.
I've had a few requests for it throughout the year. Nothing that made me go, oh, I needed to include that in the top 10. But definitely one of those where kind of hit, little pockets of people that weren't to hear it, and does decent. I've never really seen like when we're talking crowd reaction though, I haven't seen a tremendous response from it. But. So my next one, I'm going to go kind of a heavy hitter here. This has been one that's, I'd say it's starting to last year and maybe the year before, despite everything that was going on, this was like ranking up there, like my absolute number one. Everybody went nuts. I think this year it's kind of dropped to about 3 on my list, but Run DMC, it's tricky. Just
wow.
Doesn't matter if I play it. And some friends of mine, different areas, we kind of we have some like chats that we do or whatever. And we even got talking about it at one time. I was like, oh, drop this. And like, oh yeah. Like it didn't matter at high school age, weddings. Like it seems like everybody just rushes and knows it. It was almost to the point, like when I started doing it and was getting the response, I'm like, is this like on TikTok or is this on, was used somewhere that made this come back like that? And nobody knew exactly to say it was this, but yeah, definitely popular.
I'll drop it from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a nice, it's actually promo only's intro edit. So yeah, pretty simple.
I use it every event this year. It's been used. Maybe one I didn't. That was about it.
I've been playing with that one and coming out of Ice Ice Baby into that and hitting a point in Ice Ice Baby and bouncing to it with good results also. So I'm going to go to 2 songs. They're back they're both Eminem songs. Smack That and Shake That are 2 songs that I have seen on playlist after playlist after playlist. And after 10 o'clock, I have played those with huge success. And since they're kind of by this, I mean, Akon was one and Nate Dogg was on the other one, but they're kind of somewhat similar in some ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, this one kind of befuddles me. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that we have the right age group that those songs were big when they came through school.
Yeah. I got a request for the Akon one last weekend, so yeah.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot just from old school Eminem, like in general. So a Shake That without.
I'm gonna say what other Eminem is there but old school Eminem?
Well, I mean, technically he released a new album last year or something, but with it maybe again. I'm not saying I would play it, but I'm saying technically that's the new versus the old.
I know.
But I even had a request last weekend or the weekend before for My Name Is. And I just like my jaw dropped and I was like, I looked around and I'm like, yeah, we're not playing that one. Give me a different one.
That's like nearly 20 years ago, if I'm correct on that one.
Yeah, they're not.
It's got to be.
It's like 05-ish, give or take.
Yeah, they're not.
Think about that. In a couple more years, that's going to be considered an oldie. Hey, if you perform on the Super Bowl, you must be old.
Yeah.
Kidding. You're going to get hate mail for that.
Okay.
That's all right.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Where are we up to? MG, is it?
Yeah.
All right.
You're on number 3.
Again, my audience has changed over the past year, so I'm doing the casinos, which you have, it's 21 and over majority of the time that I'm DJing. So you're going to get a lot from like late 90s, early 2000s. And next one up was Sexual Healing by Maximilian. And again, that's one that I can do that one. And one that's coming up a little bit later that'll do at the same time with Montel Jordan. I'll put those 2 back to back. So, but yeah, Sexual Healing is another one of those ones. It gets the people interested because they can go out and bump and grind, and I go there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's actually interesting, that song and that version. Well, both versions were talked about on. I listen when I go for walks to AM radio, the talk radio out of Minneapolis, and they were talking about what a large crowd response that those songs get because they're just some really good quality classic tunes. So.
Let me quiet my phone down.
Yeah.
Nobody's calling you.
Yeah.
Somebody sent a message. I have no idea who it was. You're going to wait till after the show, whoever you are.
Whoever it is. No, for you. All right, Dan, what do you got next?
The Killers, Mr. Brightside.
That one has been come back past 2 years. Yes.
And
I know when to play it though. I wait till somebody asks because I'm like,
for a lot of mine, so it's into that pop punk, type of genre. And I've got another one. Yeah, I think just one more on the list that fits into that category. It's been huge over the past couple of years, but that one in particular just has really stuck more than any of the others. It's been on request lists. It's gotten good response. I usually wait, in all honesty, until about the last hour when I need to get them going, but they're not, either they're too intoxicated or they've lost the energy to really dance. And they're going to be more of like a sing along bar type of thing.
Yeah.
And I can kind of re-grab some energy or give them kind of a breather to just be able to do that. And kind of in both cases, it really rejuvenates things. And sometimes I'll even go for a second, like back to back of that style, not mixing, just slamming to keep it going.
What do you play around it, like before, after, like what kind of stuff, give or take, if you can remember?
So before it really kind of depends. Sometimes if I'm up high and I'm just starting to see the energy wane, I'll just break break spin into it and drop it and hit it that way. Other times I've tried to be near BPM. So I'm doing, we've just done a bump and grind with like a Genuine Pony or, something down in that area. So we'll go into that. I did it one time coming out of Cupid Shuffle. It worked. It wasn't like I wasn't trying to go speed, but it was kind of like I had them kind of going and I wanted them to keep going, but in a different feel. And so when I did, it worked. It wasn't my favorite kind of way to put it back to back, but it worked.
Yeah, Mr. Brightside was also on my list, and many of the things you were just saying, Dan, exactly. The only difference is I play it earlier in the night. I wanted to play that in the first hour because after seeing what it's done at multiple events this year, so it became in that latter part of the first hour, because what I was after was I wanted to get that age group out there singing along at the top of their lungs and showing that energy, because then you've got older folks in the crowd who are going to see that and just have a better appreciation, because all of a sudden the young people have had this kind of a dance floor takeover moment, that there's going to be times where, there's going to be maybe a little older songs, maybe something from the 70s and 80s that they may have more of a dance floor takeover moment. But right now, get out of their way. Here's our party crowd, and they're coming in. So that's where I've been putting it. And but yeah, why or where it came from, but it's going very well. One of the probably the best when I did it, kind of in the middle of the night or middle of the evening. Somebody had came right out of Baby Got Back with it, and we had the right age group that was on the dance floor. And then when it hits that at the very beginning of the edit I use. It was a fabulous hit to go from one to the next. Nothing fancy. It was just a slam into it. And so, okay, for a song, and the song I probably have never played until this year, maybe more than once or twice, is "Don't Stop the Party" from Pitbull. Last year was Fireball.
Wow.
Was the one I just never played it. Wasn't on my radar. I mean, I played it a time or two.
That's one that I was surprised didn't come up on this one, because I've abused that song. That's way up on my full length play, like hundreds of times.
Wow, yeah, it's just really hadn't been a thing. And then earlier in the summer, it was requested, and it's been here and there throughout. I think not this past weekend's wedding, but 2 weeks ago it was on their request list. But I've been dropping it at different parts. The only thing I did find is that if you play it towards the end of the night, like getting too close to the end, you get the venue manager who gets a little kind of cross-eyed at you. It's the don't stop the party, and they're like, no, you're stopping the party. It's almost midnight. You're stopping the party. Okay, MJ, you're up.
All right, so this one is one that I do in a set of fast ones like Pitbull that have those cuts, because I'll come into Pitbull's, the one you were saying, where it's that, hey, everybody have a good time. Mm-hmm. I come in on that roll from a cut, and this is one of the ones I use. The cut is Icona Pop's I Love It. And I play the IMMJ clean edit, and with the clean video edit, keep that in mind also. But yeah, that's that high energy. You can just get them,
Oh yeah.
push them over the edge with that one. But yeah, those are one of the ones that I'll put stuff like that together, and other ones that I'll probably mention later that are that fast and kind of the cuts that I can,
Mm-hmm. Good.
But that one.
Good tune. I wish it would have made more. I've tried it a couple of times this summer. Just didn't do it. It's like, oh come on, this is a really good tune.
Do you do it after your scratch routine and
No, I tend to put it on because I want to. My goal is to bring people out to the dance floor. So first I play, Jacob's Ladder that pulls everybody out on the dance floor, and then I drop it. It's like, what happened? Come on, people. You were hooked with a really good song. I get
fast
it.
one next time that's like that, like Taylor Swift's "Shake It Up," something that has a drop ending or a drop beginning sort of thing, and try it where it just butts up against that and keeps some sort of energy rolling.
Yeah, I can't remember what I've used. At high schools, it goes really well, and I've done really successfully there with it. Again, keeping it in that same BPM range as the prior songs, but it just hasn't flown at weddings for me.
I've had some fall off on it. So we did this last year, easily top 10. This year, top 20, but I just haven't had quite the response. Like
Sure.
like play it, some respond to it, but just not quite the same feel, not the same emotion that it used to have with my groups. So
They just don't love it as much as they used to.
I tried to. I was like, "There's the lob. There's the
Bada
lob.
bing.
Send it home. Send it home."
Bada bing.
All right. I guess I'm up next. I'm just gonna keep hitting the hard ones and trying to take stuff from at least John's list. Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody. I think that's an easy that was like a softball toss right there.
I'm sorry that's not on my list because I guarantee I play it a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's been one of those things where I have two different versions that I do that I tend to go back and forth between. One is a straight up quick mix or quick edit. I think it's like all of 2 minutes long. It's nice, and it takes out a bunch of like the extra fill stuff and really brings it down and gets a good response. But if I'm starting coming out of something, if I'm coming out of a slow song where I'm using it to actually start the floor for the night or something like that, I'll tend to use the full one because I want it to take a little longer to pull some of those people that are kind of taking a little bit to get to the floor.
Yeah.
I like the shorter version better because it's a redrum type of feel too. So it really kind of makes that nice being able to mix out whenever I want.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been on request lists. It still gets great response. I mean, if it's not Earth, Wind, and Fire response, it's that one.
Excellent. So Black Eyed Peas, I've been having more requests, and I've been doing kind of a mix of let's get it started into I Got a Feeling, because both of the songs I feel are just way too much to play the whole thing. But if you can take a snippet of one and mixing it into the snippet of the other, they can be has been a very, very solid song from Black Eyed Peas. So let's get it started into I Got a Feeling and getting in, getting out. And I think where I've got the cue points set, I believe it becomes to like a minute 55 or something to that effect for getting in and out of it. I couldn't tell you without seeing the cue points because MJ told me how to do the cue points and where to put them, and now I just wait until that cue point 7 comes along and go play.
Yay.
So you're slam mixing them.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Actually, what I do is I have the one in a loop. The second, I Got a Feeling in a loop, and I can drop it in, and you can start to build it up, and then when it gets there, then I can unloop it. Is how I've been doing it.
That's a mix.
So
See, it doesn't take much, people.
yeah,
John just
If
put
John can
songs
do it,
together.
you can do it.
and then
I
I
wouldn't say it that way.
I
but
follow it up with one of the better songs of the night that's coming from. Let's see. It's one of the better songs of the night from.
I'm surprised you didn't.
I
drop
am
the
going to
software.
admit something.
I'm really surprised you didn't mention the software in that instead.
Yeah.
How I can mix so
I
well.
am going to mention that I have twice this year heard Huey Lewis songs on store playlists. Twice or 3 times this year, and one was a grocery store, and I was going to just video me stand there with it playing in the background and then send it to John. Just stand there, not do anything. Just let it play and send it to him. But I'm like, nah, I said, even it's late at night, there's not a lot of people here. Someone's still going to like...
They're going to be like, this man's looking suspicious. Let's call him.
Yeah.
Call security, Mildred. Okay, let's see. MJ, are you? Yeah. No.
I thought it was yours, John.
Is it me?
It's yours because I just did Whitney.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so speaking of
Or
Whitney.
no, he did because he did Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
So
That's
right.
right.
It's you, MJ.
Okay. Just for the record, this year I also met a girl named Whitney. First young lady named Whitney I've ever met in my whole life. So, anyways. This one is actually 4 songs. It is a mashup that is just a song length.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a mashup of 90 songs. And I don't even go all the way through it. There's just a drop point. But these are all, again, 90 songs that I can drop with a lot of crowds because it's still a little bit of a throwback to some of them. But it is the throwdown mega mix, 90s mega mix. It starts out with This Is How We Do It, Montel Jordan. Like I said, just does a short piece of it. Then goes into the Fresh Prince theme from the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Then goes into House of Pain, Jump Around. And then finishes up with Let Me Clear My Throat. And there's a part where you go freeze, and usually I'll jump into something there, like Hot in Here, where it's, oh, and you have that cut in. So you can put those two together. But that one with those 4 songs, and I usually say something like, all right, I want to hear you guys sing along with this or something,
Sure.
and then they start screaming the Fresh Prince. But like I said, the whole thing's maybe 4 or 5 minutes long maximum, but it just puts those 4 together, and it just kind of works.
Nice.
I love doing the let me clear my throat, freeze, and then slam into something completely different. If I want to, another one to try with that is, and this is, I didn't put this on my list, but I'm going to put it on my list now. DMX Party Up. And sometimes I'll do the freeze, and then I'll slam into that, and if I have energy, if I have a good energy from it, it just takes it like that extra step. So. I've had great response, and I didn't put it on the list, but I should have, because that, like I said, that one is another one that's had a lot of great response this year. Maybe because of the death, maybe just because in general he, some resurgence. But yeah.
So a really great song to drop at that freeze moment. And this MJ, you can write this down. I'll let you write this one down. Is Conway Twitty's "Hello, Darling."
Hello, darling.
I mean, what would be more fun than that? Freeze, and then you hear "Hello, darling." Is that not a party waiting to happen? Party?
I would not be surprised if I ever did that. People would sing along with that.
Oh, I bet
I didn't play a lot of it, but I guarantee somebody out there is using it on a TikTok, walking up to a girl, "Hello, darling," in the background music. So,
or even you don't have to call me darling.
There you go.
Not Conway Twitty, but yeah.
Yeah, you could do a whole darling.
Actually,
thing.
you could do the "Hello, Darling," and then you could have the DMX building in the background up there and behind it.
Oh, up in here, darling, up in here.
Okay, let's see. So, Dan, are you?
Yeah, I was good. I did the Party Up.
Okay, so you did the party.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that one of your on your list, or you added?
I added it. Do you want me to stick to? Let me. Okay, fine. I'll give you another one. We're going bonus here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with kind of the old theme, but this is, you mentioned earlier about how that like takeover. I don't like to have the takeover equate so early. What I like to do is to throw something that gets a good response for both age groups.
Mm-hmm.
So ABBA, Dancing Queen. That's been huge this year for me. I don't personally like to play it, but I do. And it's, again, one of those that both sides of the age range are come to the floor at the same time for it.
So I look at Dancing Queen, Staying Alive, YMCA, you did those, and it's been Staying Alive had been the stronger of the 3 this year. Dancing Queen has been the most requested and has done the best. I mean, I played both of them, but it's interesting how the YMCA dropped in this summer has also been a strong song, but Dancing Queen has been stronger this year than it has in a long, long time. So I definitely agree with that one. Speaking of songs that have gone over better this year than last, Summer of '69 has been requested and has gone over much better than, and I would put that in the same category as like Footloose or Jesse's Girl, which were at different times stronger songs with crowd response. But this summer, Summer of '69 has been the strongest of those three songs. Not that I put them in a set, but basically, if you're looking for an '80s banger, those were some of those songs, and of those, Summer of '69 was the strongest.
It's my
DJ, you're up.
All right, so the next one, I do this from time to time, or I'll take a song that was popular and bring it back with a different version. And I started this one, I don't know, 3 years ago, and apparently I'm still dropping it a lot because it's on the list. There's a couple in here that I'm like, am I still dropping it that much? You'll hear me talk about one here in a little bit. But I got a Mombatone redrum of Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, and then I put I did a video edit to it, so because the other one was just an audio version. So it's the Mombatone redrum of Party in the USA. So, like I said, I do that a lot where I find redrums of different things for that purpose and make an old song kind of fresh with something a little bit different.
And
Nice.
that was actually one on my list also, is that surprisingly that one has been requested quite a lot and has had generally the bridesmaids and the bride, it's right in their wheelhouse, and it's done very, very well.
To find the Mombatone one, just to spice it up.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be nice to change it up.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, appreciate it.
No, we didn't say that because you're not allowed to trade music.
That's right. We can't do that.
No,
He'll sing
I
it.
heard link. I heard link.
He will sing it to you.
You're gonna send me the
Go
link.
download.
I heard. Exactly. Okay. So I'm gonna go now, and one that kind of has been weird because it's been like middle of the road. It hasn't gone anywhere like super strong for me. It hasn't gone away. It's decent response. Lotto, big energy. But what I think I finally started towards the later half of the year, finally started hitting on something that has allowed this to take off a better way. I think so. Part of the problem I think I had before was just how I was mixing it together.
Mm-hmm.
What I found kind of towards the end of the year is to actually just full out play fantasy and mix out of fantasy into big energy.
I do it the other way around, but every single time the two go together. Yeah.
But exactly but I've been using fantasy just because I might be in kind of like a little bit older set when I'm bouncing around in that BPM. And so I've got it, I get them hooked, and then I blend it into the other one. And then then they're like, oh yeah. And then they're like, their vibe with it has been a lot different. I don't feel like it's come on stronger like this part of the year. I think maybe it's more with the music, but consistently throughout the year, it's been a good hit song for me.
Haven't used that at all.
Well, now you should.
Yeah. So another kind of comparison. Last year when we talked about songs that were doing really well, we were still doing pretty well with Uptown Funk from Bruno Mars. This year, if I play both of them in the course of a night, or if one's requested, it's going to be 24K Magic has been much more requested, used, and had a much better response. So it's been an interesting thing. At weddings, the only group that has been more responsive to Uptown Funk has been the under 12 age, the kids. Otherwise, adults, for some reason, 24K Magic has been stronger for me this year than Uptown Funk.
I saw a band recently that right before they did the cover of 24K, they handed out blinky rings to everybody, threw them out in the crowd, and then they sang it with their blinky rings. You've got to be kidding me.
Oh, funny.
Gimmick, but it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun. They made it fun. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's what people like, is have a good time with things. What do you got next?
What do you got, MJ?
Oh, it's me. Okay, so we were talking about earlier about songs that I can't believe I'm still playing this much. Here's one. Like, I honestly go, I still like it. It's still, people still dance to it, but I'm surprised that I'm playing it so much that it made it in the top 10. This really surprises me. Is Despacito.
Wow.
Which I'm like, and I play a different version. I play the Diggs redrum. Like, everything I play is a different redrum of some sort. I can't believe that's made my list, but apparently I think it's one of those ones that you, like the old days when you had records or CDs and you kind of didn't know what to do and you're in a certain BPM range, you just grab that disc, but these are hits, and it becomes a habit. That's probably all that is to me, is just a habit play that I maybe need to break. But nobody's complaining about it.
Yeah.
I mean, So
That doesn't mean they like it. I'm sure.
Yeah, and
oh no, trust me, in my world,
I know. I'm
man,
messing.
oh days, you're a horrible human being if they don't like what you do.
Oh yeah.
habit play. I've never heard that phrase used, but is that a
Well,
great way
like
to
I said,
describe
back
it?
in the days,
Yeah.
you always had the disc you went to.
Yep.
Nowadays, with being able to search, I like the fact that it opens you up so far beyond the ones you do. And a lot of guys still stick to crates. But with the searching, especially the way virtual lets you do, string searches, I think it opens you up to more. But apparently, I'm still doing that because whatever search I end up doing, I play it by most played,
yeah.
and it's way up on my most played, so it's going to come up first. But back in the day, you always had, especially once we got the burn discs, you always had that disc that had all your hits on it, and you always went. And apparently, I'm still doing that, but in a different way.
Yep. Funny. All right, Dan, what do you have next?
So I'm going to go for one this is more regional. And so MJ might run into this as well. Just the Pennsylvania thing.
It's on my list. Oh my gosh, right there.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's right there.
Kerncraft 400
What
Zombie
did John
Nation.
say?
He said it's on his list before I even said the song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ironically, that has been requested at the last 2 weddings, and it was used as an intro for a bride and groom this fall. So yeah, I know what the song.
I actually met him when that song was a hit. He came and performed at one of the clubs where I was DJing, and they paid him thousands of dollars, okay, and equipment and hotel, and they put him up on the stage, and he didn't DJ. He's a studio person. So he had like DAT machines and a full board to blend stuff in and out. Now, if you just listen to it, the whole night was amazing because he was doing those tones, but he was doing them like creepy organ music and back and forth. And him and the other guy had like Mad Max masks on and garbage bags over their shoulders taped around the waist, and they both have very thick German accents. And every once in a while, they'd just scream into the mic, "Let me hear you make some noise!" And that was it. But he got paid a lot for that. Yeah. But yeah, I do, Dan, at the college, especially like the college stuff. I mean, you can.
I'm sure they played at others. I know it's hugely played at Penn State.
Yeah.
And so being where I'm at, it's an easy target, right?
Yeah,
to play that, and they go nuts. And now keep in mind, the version I have is like a minute 45 because all it is that one spot that has the hype and the scream, and then does it like 2 or 3 times, and then it's out.
Sure.
But yeah, big response.
I've come out of that one spot in there where it dies energy a lot, and it's just and I've come out of that and build it up into Sandstorm through that, and you have that energy again.
Nice.
But that one is Sandstorm. Unfortunately, is not on my top 10. Should be. Sean, you're up.
Okay. A song that was talked about last year, and it's still doing very, very well. From the Backstreet Boys, "I Want It That Way," for the boy band singers, the boy band wannabes in the crowd. It has been doing very, very well. It doesn't have the energy of Mr. Brightside for sing-along type, but it has the we can bring them down off we just kind of wrapped up a really hard or a really good dance set. We can bring them off that way, and you will have the young men stay out there because they're going to sing along. I do a lot of dances that are out in barns, and a lot of that would be considered country weddings. Not that we're playing a ton of country music, but there's some. And it's always fun to see these big farm boys up there singing their boy band songs.
I always say when you do the boy band stuff, they're always the guys on the side, "Oh, this sucks," and then all the girls start singing, and they're like, "Oh, I want to be out there with the girls."
Well, and then they're singing it to the girls, and they know every word. So it's not, it's like,
"Don't lie to me, son. You know the lyrics.
You know what's going on here. You know what's going on." So
I've started to notice that Backstreet Boys in general just not carrying that same piece, and I've wondered if some of the age of the couples I've been with is starting to transition more not away from not away from boy bands, but starting to make them more transition to the NSYNCs and then the ones that would follow.
Possible.
So I'm curious to see more, like in the next year, if that transition continues. Because, like, for example, last year Backstreet Boys "Everybody" was huge for me. This year, it's about the response. MJ, you're up.
Again, another one that you guys brought up already that I'm surprised that it's on my list. but I think it's another one of those go-tos out of bad habit. Not bad habit, but just I don't need to play it as much as I do as Uptown Funk. And keep in mind that is not Bruno Mars. That's Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars. So Mark, that's his song. So just make sure you all know that.
Yeah, that's true. So
He's
we can
the guy
play.
playing bass in the video if you ever watch
Yeah,
it.
it's his song.
All right. My next one has been a new song, and this has not been a request, but this has been purely based upon reaction. Nicki Minaj, Super Freaky Girl. Towards the end of the night or whatever, they're really getting into it, and I've dropped it a few times, and like the first time I did it, I was like, okay, I hope this works. I just hope it works. Like it's still kind of new. Like, and the number of people that were singing every lyric, I went, oh, this was a good choice. To the point that I now throw it in just about every wedding towards that end of
Right, if you play the song for the grandparents, then you play that, right?
Exactly.
It's going on to you, Grandma.
Listen, they don't know that it's not the original. They hear the music and they're like, oh, there's somebody else singing it. That's all right. It's the same one. They just made it.
Yeah, just a female singing instead of the guys. Funny. I'm going to jump to a country. These are two. They're played at different times of the night. Shania Twain's "Man, I Feel Like Woman" has become my opening song of how to open a dance floor. It's just, I get to that and it's like, okay, I've got, coming into the wedding, I've got a half a dozen songs. I'm thinking, okay, any of these could be the opening song based on their requests and what I'm seeing and the age and everything. And invariably I get to as we get closer, it's like, okay, we got Shania opens the dance floor and has had huge success with "Man, I Feel Like Woman." Later in the night, coming back to a Shania Twain with "Party for Two." That one was not on my radar. I mean, I knew of it and had played it when it came out, but it started early in the wedding season. It was on the playlist. It's like, oh, okay. And the response was like incredible. So as the season went on, it still was showing up, not as often as it was early, but the dance floor response has been, I would call this probably my biggest surprise for me song, of one that was not on the radar before this year and now is like in that country set, displacing like the Alabama and maybe even "Fishing in the Dark" as one of the top 5 country songs that I would play.
So funny, he's just dropping names of songs I've never heard of.
Yeah, just stay with Conway Twitty.
But the Shania one is one that, believe it or not, I play.
Yeah, I would think so.
It just has a reaction right now that's just like, what?
It's a what?
Fine, it makes me look good.
Yeah,
you all
exactly.
are dancing.
Oh, funny.
All right, back to you, MJ.
Okay, so one that you guys both mentioned earlier, I wanted to hold off on mentioning it because I want to mention it for a reason. I have switched versions this year of this song. It's always been hit. You guys mentioned it already as "Dancing Queen." But I came across a version this year that has an intro that is hook first. So I'm coming in beat mixed into
Nice.
"You Can Dance," right into that. So it's hitting them quick and then into the verse. And that one has really brought a different kind of breath to the song as opposed to the piano. Both have great energy. But this one I went to this year because I'm like, it's interesting to see how this is going. Where I literally it has an intro and I beat match into that part. So that's why I waited, because it's just different, and I still drop the other one from time to time, but I've been having fun playing this one. So
Nice.
I will say that's one song you've got to be careful with your crowd if you're choosing to quick mix. So I have a quick edit.
You gotta.
I have a quick edit of that one, and I played it because it was just like, first off, I was kind of like trying to squeeze a few things in, and when the request came in, and I played it, and I think the version I have is probably less than 2 minutes, and I got out, and the death glares I got from the ants, and I was just like, I'm sorry. Like, they looked at me, they're like, what? And I was like, sorry, I grabbed the wrong version. Like, I played it off. Like, I was just like, I'm sorry. And they're like, okay. And they went back to dancing, but it was just like the glares.
Oh, yeah.
So be careful if you choose to do some short edits there.
It's the Scooter chorus first redrum, and it is full length, and it does have an outro, so it gives you a chance to really give them everything. but you can get out and keep that energy a little bit too. So give it a try sometime. If you guys try these different things, like I said, I still draft to the original one a lot. But this one's been on my list. I think just because one of those things, it's a challenge for me, trying something different.
Nice.
My next one, I'm gonna go. This one was kind of like MJ's. I just keep throwing it at him, and it hasn't been on a request list for I don't know years probably, but I keep throwing it at him, and they get it. Like I get a good response from it. I have Sugar Hill Gang Apache, but I've got a really short, like minute 45 version. So it's basically just the dun 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 dun. They do that twice and then like it's done, right? So it's just enough to get in, get it, and get out.
Yeah.
But it's again, it's one of those, everybody knows it. It fits really nice if I'm trying to get through like the teens and the BPM. I can jump into it pretty easily. So Sugar Hill Gang Apache. But yeah, you definitely, unless you have the right crowd, you're not playing the whole thing.
Do you guys ever play the Sir Mix-a-Lot version of that anywhere? Because I don't have much luck with it.
It's been years.
I've used this Sir Mix-a-Lot, basically just that spot, and gone into Baby Got Back.
That'll work too.
To basically use that to set up Baby Got Back. And it's.
I may have to do that now. Thank you, John.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where. Again, I've set Q.7.
So you could go there to Baby Got Back to Anaconda. Just keep that going across. You guys probably don't play Anaconda much at weddings.
No, not so much. No.
I almost did.
We play. I've got a tear in my beer, and I'm crying for you, dear. Or she's crying. Crying for a deer. Crying something. Okay, MJ. Let's see. I think we might be up to number 10 on your list.
This is my last one.
Or wait a second. Wait a second. I need to go quick.
No, I think it's you.
Yeah, it's mine.
I think it's Sean's. Yeah.
Everywhere. High school, prom, homecoming, weddings. Florida. Low from Florida is the top requested song of the year for me again. It's like you go wherever it goes, and no matter what time of night you play it or how many times you want to play it a night. I mean, it's like as long as I'm following it up with a Huey Lewis song, people are going to go crazy. I'm just saying.
That one low, and I'll do Milkshake near it too. Those both kind of have that kind of, get down and shake your booty kind of thing. So I'm with you there. It didn't make the list, but it's still one I'll drift to often. All right, my last one's another one that I don't know if it really does work. I think it does work because I always have a good thing. Or it's another one of those ones I just drift to a lot. Like I probably should have went 10 through 20. That maybe would have been some, 11 through 20. That might have been some, more interesting songs. But last one on my list is "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy, and I have the DJ Monday intro version that builds in, and for me, I use it as to get them coming in there. So I'll do the mix across and not quick mix. Where I'll let that, he talks all through it, but there's a beat to it. So it carries the energy all the way in. And I usually get them there and then kind of hang there for a minute and see what does. Because there's a lot in that same late 90s, early 2000s. It's in that BPM range.
Oh, for sure.
Just stay there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just hits me. I do it. So.
Nice. I had some others for my last one, but then this one is one that, as I was thinking about this past year, it's starting to like show up a lot on request lists more frequently. And it may be just the type of crowd that I had this fall, and maybe that's what it is. But LFMAO Shots. Like for the longest time, like Party Rock would show up or Sexy, Sexy and I Know It would show up, and Shots would be there, but it was like when you had that real party crowd, like the ones that were going to like get totally plastered that night.
They're getting crunked.
Those are the ones when it would show up.
They're getting crunked.
They're getting crunked, right? And lately, it's not necessarily been that type of a crowd, but I've been getting lots of requests for it. So it's just been kind of interesting to see that kind of change there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that for my last one here.
That's one for me that I have a short, like you talked about short versions. I have a short version of that where I'll go through a couple times, and then there's a break off there that you can get out and go to something else that has that same sort of, again, the energy ones, like the Bruno Mars or the Pitbulls or Icona Pops, or I probably wouldn't play
Sure.
that. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yans know what I mean, as we say here in Pittsburgh.
So for my last one, we got the Cupid Shuffle. Of course, everyone is doing that. But this year, Cupid Shuffle has been the most popular requested song. But the Wobble has been the one that has had the most excitement when people have hit the dance floor. They don't know how to do it as well, but people have just been excited about going out there and trying to do it. There might be 75 people doing Cupid Shuffle and 100 doing the Wobble. Just an interesting situation with those two. So both do.
They all go different directions, because lately when I play that, you like have half the room facing this way, half the room
and there's that. Yeah, it's like, come on, people.
I've gotten to a point right now when I've done it, like I'll get requests for it and I'll play it, and I'll get like 2 or 3 people that will try and do it, and the rest don't even try. They're just dancing as if I played any other song,
it's the song
in that, with that beat. So it's kind of been interesting that's showing up, and you've got that response from it, because I'm not getting that response at all.
Interesting. And that's why we have these discussions every once in a while, is because there's such a variety. DJNTV.com/chill. Dan, why don't you take us home? We got a couple of shows tomorrow night. We just watch for the Facebook page and such. We'll put the links up tomorrow as we go. So
virtual show on Wednesday.
Wednesday's virtual show, and then we'll have there should be 2 shows dropping, 2 shows tomorrow night, 2 shows on Wednesday night, and you guys kind of be able to catch a lot of good stuff there. So
just check all the socials, because that's where we're going to end up having this stuff, and because you'll forget it 5 minutes after we get off the air anyway. So have yourself a wonderful, wonderful night. Don't forget about hanging with Howie. John put the link in the chat so you can go and join the guys over there, guys and ladies that are going to be hanging out throughout the rest of the night. Thank you very much for being a part of tonight. Hopefully you got 30 some plus songs ready to go that you maybe forgot about and weren't wanting to try, but now you can. Have yourself a good one. We'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.